What's good, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome back to the channel. I'm LotusAsakura, the one who never knows best, and in today's video I'm bringing you my final Season 2 tier list for Dragon Ball FighterZ. Now I say final even though I've never uploaded a tier list to YouTube before, at least not that I remember. But I've made tier lists on Twitter and on stream before, which by the way, again, always gotta plug in. If you don't follow the streams, the link's in the description down below. You're missing out. But anyway, I've made tier lists before, but this is going to be pretty much my final one for Season 2 since World Finals are just under a month away. LCQs will be taking place February 8th, and then the actual finals of the tournament on February 9th. And then we'll probably most likely get a Season 3 announcement after Grand Finals on the 9th. But before that, I figured now's as good a time as any to drop my tier list for Season 2. Oh, and since we, on this whole YouTube grind, I'm saying the whole like goal type beat, you feel me? What if we get this video to say 2,500 likes and maybe I'll do some more tier lists in the future, you did? Because I know a lot of people really enjoy these types of videos and I honestly like making them. So if you want to see tier lists of other things, whether it just be Dragon Ball FighterZ or other anime and manga related things, we could probably get that popping. So 2,500 likes and we'll see where this goes. Y'all know the like button is free. Now, this should go without saying, but just a quick disclaimer that this is just my opinion and who am I anyway but some scrub who just plays the game online for fun on Twitch and on YouTube. But it's all fun, I'm just here to have some fun, so that's what we're gonna do. But anyway, let's get into it. And I think the first thing that needs to be done is that I need to make a new tier, and I think I need an S+ tier. And I think the top 3 characters in this game that are gonna go in the S+ tier are pretty unanimous at this point, and that is Kid Buu, GT Goku, and Teen Gohan. Now I know for some of you this might be a surprise because a lot of you still think Bardock is the best character in the game, but I'm gonna say this plain and simple, there's a reason why you're seeing less and less Bardock and a lot more Teen Gohan. I think this character has had the biggest glow up in all of this game, and all of DBFZ. Teen Gohan has had the greatest rise. Insane neutral damage output, meter gain, and the best auto combo in the game. I don't care what you say. Yeah, he's got to be top 3. And when it comes to Kid Buu and GT, I really don't need to talk too much about these characters. Everybody knows that these are the 2 best characters in the game. Some people flip-flop back and forth between who they think is the best. I personally think it's Kid Buu, but I'm not going to argue with you if you think it's GT. It is what it is. With that out of the way, there's an S tier, and I think I'm also probably going to need an S- tier now that I think about it. Alright, so in S tier, I have 2 characters in particular who might be the only 2 characters in S tier. So with the first character in S tier, I have Adult Gohan, and for the second character, I have Bardock. Now this is probably going to be the most controversial placement on my list, but I do personally genuinely think that Adult Gohan is better than Bardock, especially once he's leveled up. I would say that while Bardock is still a very high tier character and is obviously still very strong, I don't think it's a coincidence that these days you see more Adult Gohan than Bardock. And while I do think Bardock has the better neutral and is a lot simpler to play, overall I think the things that Adult Gohan are capable of, especially once he's leveled up, puts him above Bardock in my opinion. Because I mean, sure, Bardock's got Lariat and EX Lariat and Ki Blast and Lariat, but Adult Gohan also has legs and EX legs and fuzzy setups just like Bardock does, crazy damage, crazy meter gain, got a DP. I don't know, man. I feel like a lot of people are going to disagree with this, but a lot of people disagree with me when I said Teen Gohan was top 3 a few months ago, but here we are now. Now as for the rest of this list, I'm not sure if I'm actually going to have it in order. It's pretty much going to be the characters who are in that tier, just in that tier, and whether you think one is better or worse than the other is kind of like up for debate. But I think the first character I want to put in S- tier is actually Super Saiyan Goku. Again, I don't think it's a coincidence that this is one of, if not the most popular character in the game, and the most popular anchor in the game. Super Saiyan Goku is a character who, more than anybody else in Dragon Ball FighterZ, feels like he just keeps getting better and better and better the longer this game goes on. He's got one of the best assists in the game. People just keep finding more and more optimal combo routes, great buttons, incredible ki blasts, multiple beams, and just like kind of a little bit of everything. I think the next character I want to put up here in S- tier is actually Base Vegeta, which might come as a surprise to some of you, but maybe not so much so if you've been keeping up with the tournaments of the tour this year, or I guess technically last year. Base Vegeta is a character who, funnily enough, I actually started playing, I want to say about 2 weeks before Sonic Fox picked that character up and started training with him in preparation for Goichi. And when I was playing him, I was like, yo, why do people think this character is bad? I don't really get it, because he seems really solid, and not to mention he's a ton of fun to play. Some of the best ki blasts in the game, rocket kick is OD, crazy damage and crazy meter build if you're optimal, which I'm not, but if you can do ki blast loops, this character's nuts. Not to mention, we've seen what's capable of happening when you mix this character with this assist. I mean, you get crazy 50-50s that are pretty much unseeable. And speaking of 50-50s, he's actually still got one of the best level 3s in the game, because if you do the command grab into level 3, you get true 50-50 high-low. So while I think Base Vegeta is actually one of the hardest characters in the game to play at a high level and at an optimal level, I think if you've got the execution and the skill, he is extremely strong. He's different from the rest of the characters on this list in the sense that you don't just immediately see his strengths and start racking up more wins online once you add him to your team. He's a character who you really have to learn. The rest of these characters, like, sure, they've all got their advanced tech and they can be difficult to play at the highest level when you're doing the most optimal stuff, but I think it mostly applies to Vegeta more than anyone else I have on this tier list so far. But if you've got what it takes, this character is very strong, as we've seen. And the next character I want to throw up here is actually going to be DBZ Broly. Quick question, why is the best grappler in the game also the best zoner in the game? No, real talk, it's already bad enough I got Mr. Where My Hug At on my back 24/7, but you're telling me that if he wants to, he could just back up, go full screen, and just zone me out all day long with arguably the best Ki Blast in the game and one of the best specials in the game? Yeah, okay, sure, makes sense, that's fair. But in general, I think Broly is undoubtedly and inarguably an like high A, low S tier. Now I've got two more characters I want to put in this S- tier, and those characters are actually Trunks and Yamcha. Yamcha I probably don't have to say too much about. He's still a very strong character, and while I would say he's not as prevalent or prominent as he was in season 1, I mean, left right mixed up with EX Wolfang is still OD, one of the best assists in the game, crazy Ki Blast. I mean, yeah, we know about Yamcha. Now Trunks is a character that a lot of people know about, but very few people actually play, and I feel like I gotta put an asterisk by his name because he's easily a high A in my opinion, but maybe not everybody will agree with him being an S-. But I think that Trunks has some of the best neutral in the game, a crazy good assist with a ton of hit stun that takes up like the whole screen, pretty great damage in season 2, and has access to some of the best mix-ups in the game, including solo mix-ups and sparking that rival any other character. EX Flip is so good that we watched Lord Knight open up Goichi with it, I want to say 2 or 3 times back to back successfully in the same match. And you know a mix-up is strong if Goichi of all people is getting cracked open by it. If you want to say that Trunks is actually just an A tier, I wouldn't necessarily argue with it, but I think once he has sparking, like if Trunks was a level 3 sparking is at least S-, arguably S, or maybe even S+, because you're not blocking him. You're eating those left-right 50-50s almost every time, and if not, you're just some sort of legend. Next up, we have A tier, and this is easily going to be the most stacked tier in the game. We have Piccolo, who I would say has definitely fallen off after season 1, but is still very strong, although you know, with the way the game plays now, his Hell Zone mix-ups are not as strong as they once were. We've also got Cooler, who I think is the most underrated character in this game. Not enough people are talking about Cooler. A lot of people say Blue Goku is the most underrated character in the game, and I think Blue Goku is pretty solid. He's decently strong, but the thing is, like, everybody's calling him the most underrated, so he can't be the most underrated because everybody thinks he's underrated. But I swear to you, bro, I think Cooler is super strong. Almost nobody plays him, almost nobody talks about him. I come across a fair amount of Blue Goku players online. I don't really come across that many Cooler players, but when I do, they kind of smoke me. Bro, his 2M, his 5M, his 3H, oh my god, 3H, bro. That button is one of the best buttons in the game and no one's talking about it. Why? DP assist is OD, plus on block overhead dive kick is OD. This character is strong. This character is really strong. Then up next in A tier, I'm gonna put Base Goku. Now, this is definitely a character who many of us thought was low tier, and it took a player the caliber of Wawa to show us what he was really capable of. And it's funny because I've definitely seen a large increase in Base Goku players online ever since Wawa has been performing so well in tournament with them. Like these last several months, I see way more Base Goku players. And can we talk about his assist for just 1 second, because why does he have an assist that has 2 gigantic hitboxes on both sides that give you 75 frames of hit stun? Why is that okay? Why is that a thing? Who proved that? Why are we just letting that rock? Y'all remember when that used to have medium scaling, by the way? Because I remember. Oh my, I'm so glad they got rid of that because that was just broken. Up next, I'm also going to put characters like Vegito up here, and Cell and Zamasu, who I don't think I need to talk too much about any of them. Cell, one of those characters who is, you know, one of those How the Mighty Have Fallen type of characters, but nowhere near 16. We're going to get to later, but yeah, Cell is a character who used to be top tiers, not so much so anymore, but is still very solid. Zamasu, another people's pick for most underrated character in the game. I think much like Blue Goku, so many people are calling him underrated that I don't think he can be underrated, but that's just me, and Vegito is the bane of my existence. I hate all the blue-haired characters in this game. I want them all dead. And because this is going to be the most stacked tier, and I don't want this video to go on for too long, you'll notice I'll probably talk a little bit more quickly about these and not go as in-depth with these characters as I did with some of the other ones. But also in A tier, I'm going to put Android 18, Android 21, who is another character that this is a lot of people's top pick for most underrated character in the game, which again, some people say it that I just don't think it's true. Also, people have been saying 21 is the most underrated character in the game since the game came out, or that she's a low-key sleeper top tier, but nobody plays her except Matoi, and I believe Matoi, much like Leffen, was very vocal about not thinking the character is all that great. And the only notable players that come to my mind immediately are Matoi, Nokami, and Leffen. Leffen doesn't even play the game anymore. Nokami dropped her and has honestly been MIA for a minute now. And Matoi does really well, but he's the only one. So if 21 is so good and so underrated, why aren't more people playing her and placing well with her? Character is solid, but I don't think she's as good as a lot of people say she is. 18, that's my baby girl, that's my wife. You know I'm an 18 man, and Shanks has displayed well enough what that character is capable of. Still some of the best set play in the game, and while her neutral is a little lacking, fortunately this is a team game, so you're linking her up with like Trunks or Beam Assist anyway, DP Assist, and you're fine. I'm also going to throw Hits up here, Gotenks, who used to be way up here with these boys, but that last patch hit him kind of hard. Vegeta I think is still solid, but not the top tier that he once was. And surprisingly, I'm also going to throw a 17 up here, which I know a lot of you guys aren't going to agree with. Probably Gogeta, and that might be my 8 tier. Hit's one of those characters that I think is honestly like one of the illest characters in the game, and I wish more people played. I gotta say, when Sonic Fox used to play this character, that was like when it was the most fun for me to watch them compete, because his character is just so lit. Gotenks not as strong as he once was, but still has crazy good neutral, still has access to Ghost Oki, although it's nowhere near as good as it used to be, and still has a crazy good assist, but you kind of just don't see him at all anymore. And I get it, he's not top tier, he's not just like, you pick him up, just run this game plan, and you just whittle your opponent down while they don't get to play at all, but I still think he's good. Vegeta, another one of those characters who has fallen off pretty hard. I mean, I get it, the nerf to his assist was a pretty big hit, and just in general, he's like fallen in the shadow of characters like Yamcha, like Super Saiyan Goku, and especially like GT Goku. It's kind of one of those things where it's not really worth playing him, I guess, even though he does have some strengths, but he just kind of gets overshadowed by those in the higher tiers at this point. And 17 is another one of those characters who kind of like base Goku, we kind of slept on. A lot of us just weren't really playing the character right, in my opinion, but I think in the right hands, he can be very dangerous. And then Gogeta is a character we haven't seen a whole lot from competitively, but I believe Wawa has played him a few times, and Gogeta is solid. To me, Gogeta is pretty much Vegeta with a DP, which, you know, I feel some type of way about that, but it is what it is. I think both these characters are solid. And now for the B tier. As much as it pains me to say this, Goku Black is low tier. I mean, why would you play Goku Black instead of Super Saiyan Goku? There's literally no reason unless you just think he's cool, which is the reason why I play him sometimes. You play Goku Black instead of Super Saiyan Goku because you just think Goku Black is fun, he's stylish, he's cool. That's the only reason. He's got decent neutral, but everything else is lackluster in comparison. And he's the #1 character who I hope gets buffed in season 3. If we get a season 3, please, please, please give my man some buffs, bro. I want to see Goku Black flourish again, man. I miss this character so much. Up next in B tier, I'm also going to put Janemba. Now, Janemba is a character who I felt like, and I still feel like, has a lot of potential, but based off everything I've seen and know so far, he's not really impressive. He's a little bit underwhelming. He's got access to some decent stuff, but nothing that kind of really makes him stand out above any characters in the higher tiers above him, in my opinion. So we're just gonna leave him there for now. Tien, there's nothing really wrong with him, but there's nothing really good about him either. Nappa's neutral is non-existent, but if you let him get going, his pressure is insane, and he does some of the best set play in the game for sure. Similar story with Majin Buu. Set play not as good as it used to be, but it's still ridiculous if you allow him to get his game plan going. Frieza can be a very annoying character to fight against. Keep out OD, especially if you're fighting a Frieza player that's using any sort of beam assist. Ginyu and Beerus kind of characters is kind of just like, why would you play them unless you just really like them? I mean, Ginyu's kind of unique and unorthodox, and another one of those characters who much like Nappa or Majin Buu, where it can really steamroll you if you allow him to get his Ginyu setups going, but in general it's just not that good. There's a reason you really don't see a lot of Ginyu players anymore. I don't even know, like, does Aqua even still play Ginyu? I don't think he does. I think even Aqua dropped Ginyu, so you really don't see Ginyu competitively anymore, and you never really saw Beerus competitively, unless it was Sonic Fox trying to prove that this character wasn't low tier, but I digress. I'm also going to throw Android 16 in here. Now, this is the saddest character in the entire game, because while I've never been a 16 fan, I never hated 16, but to see him go from arguably the best character in the game at one point to like the lowest tier is just, it's rather unfortunate. I still think he has some good things going for him. He still has those big esports normals, decent hits on his assist, that still has a pretty large hitbox, but they destroyed his meter gain. His assist is not the worst assist in the game, but it's significantly worse than it used to be. Not to mention he's a big body, so he does get fuzzied. And quite honestly, he's just a shell of his former self. Like, I don't think he's the worst character in the game. I don't think he's as bad as a lot of people are trying to make it seem. Like, I've seen people say he's arguably the worst character in the game, or like bottom 5, and while I have him at the bottom of this tier list, I don't know if I actually think he's worse than everybody here, but maybe, oh, maybe he is bottom 5. Dang, that's crazy. That sucks to be a 16 fan. Not that I could relate. But yeah, you hate to see it. And then next up, I'm going to throw Blue Vegeta, Krillin, and Videl. Videl is, to me, probably the most disappointing character in this game, because I think she's really cool and a lot of fun, and I really enjoyed playing her when she first came out. But the way the game has changed and the way it's developed, and the realization that her spot dodge is completely useless, has made it so that there's no real reason to play this character. Funnily enough, when you don't have access to the best defensive option in the entire game, it kind of makes the character suck. Who knew? But yeah, like, her biggest weakness is that she has no reflect. Her not having access to reflect is by far the greatest disadvantage about this character, and I think if she had a reflect, she'd be a lot better. If you're gonna make her have the dodge, it's gotta be better, bro. It has to be way better. Make it faster or more active. Let her cancel out of it. Like, just give her something, because like, I get why she can't have a reflect, but the spot dodge is so bad. Krillin and Blue Vegeta, two characters we really almost never see unless you're just an enthusiast. And I mean, these are characters, all three of these actually are characters who will catch you slipping if you don't know the matchup. Like, if you're not knowledgeable, they've all got some little cheap tricks that will, you know, mess you up. But in general, not very strong, and if you know some of their tricks, it kind of kind of fall down the tier list pretty quickly, but you know, you can still get the job done online against your friends. And give me just 1 second here. That real quick, and do that. I'm just gonna make this last tier here real quick. And then down here at the very bottom, I'm gonna say Jiren. I don't understand why anybody would want to play this character. Not only is he not good, but he's boring, bland, lame, the worst antagonist in all of Dragon Ball. Probably my least favorite Dragon Ball character ever. You can call it what you want, I'm just straight hating. I think Jiren is the wackest character in this game, in Dragon Ball. I think his combo routes look stupid. The only good thing about him is his assist, and even his assist isn't like his top tier. His command grab is like, why did they even do that? Why is it so slow? There's just no reason to play this character. I just don't get it. But I don't know, that's just me. And Broly, listen, it's not that I think Broly's low tier. I honestly just don't feel like I have enough information about this character yet. I truthfully just don't really know where I want to put him. Based on everything that I know so far, I mean, he's got to be at least B tier. He's definitely not Jiren tier. But you could probably argue that he's up here in the A tier, maybe lower A, higher B. I'm not really sure yet. I genuinely just don't know enough about this character yet. But I don't think he's terrible. Like, I definitely think he's better than like these 4 down here. I think he's better than Beerus. I think he's probably better than Ginyu. But I'm not too certain. Like I said, he's probably like low A, high B. But time will tell more. I'm gonna just go ahead and leave him right here at the top of B for now. But that's pretty much gonna be my Dragon Ball FighterZ Season 2 tier list. Like I said though, this is just my opinion and I'm just some scrub on the internet, so if you disagree, feel free to let me know why in the comment section down below and let's get the discussion going. But that's gonna wrap things up. I'm personally very much looking forward to the World Finals in February and I cannot wait for the potential announcement of a Season 3. You already know I'm gonna be going crazy with the content if they drop in Season 3, and I pray that they drop some dope ass characters because I love this game so much and I can't wait for more things. I can't wait for the patch and I can't wait for the content because it's gonna be on and poppin'. It's gonna be on and poppin'. But let me know your thoughts in the comment section down below. Hit this video with a like if you enjoyed, subscribe if you haven't already, so you can stay tuned for all the content I plan on bringing you. And with all that being said, that's pretty much all of today. And remember, nothing can happen to us in the bad. Later.